One thing nobody talks about with this nurse practitioner role is all of the unpaid hours some of these jobs will quietly take from you. From charting at home, conference calls, mandatory meetings, checking emails, and the random text messages from your coworkers. Your MP pal here. Welcome to another lesson from the tracks. All right, so calling today's segment the invisible hours. Now, this refers to all of the time that is required of you off the clock, okay? So this is including your commute, all the charts you have to take home, checking emails when you're off, or responding to certain things, just all these things that take time. And as nurses, especially in a high acuity environment, we're hard workers, we're go-getters, we're self-sacrificers, we put everybody's needs before ours, and over time, that stuff can add up. It really can, and it's also one of the things that can lead to burnout and just exhaustion. I think because just from the time we start, it's such a demanding job. It takes so much, like you're drained, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, you're just worn out. But as nurses, we just accept it and we keep it moving. But then when we get to this level, it's intensified. It's less physically draining, but mentally and emotionally, like all the extra thinking that we have to do and just the liability, the responsibility, that stuff is draining. And then depending on the kind of job that you have, it can be even more. I mean, they're already underpaying us as is, so we're already not getting paid enough. And then to have to take charts home and use your off days to catch up on stuff, or you have to go in early to finish your work from the day before, that stuff adds up. Like from my first job in the urgent care, from cold and flu season, especially being a new provider, and you've seen 40, 50, sometimes 60 patients per shift, and they're just back to back all day, you just running. And so no, you don't always finish your charts. So some people either stay late, and so you may be there another 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. Or I didn't like to stay because I wanted to get out of there, but I would leave and I would come in early the next day. But all that extra time, putting in. So I started like that. And then I bounced around, had some jobs and things like that, where I actually have some pretty cush jobs where it was nice and easy, charting is minimal and you didn't have that problem and you kind of making the same amount. So I think with time, definitely I started to kind of like, I'd rather not work so hard if I have a choice, right? So one thing that really the last job that really brought this concept to life, like where I'm just really, when I thought about it, was my last ER job that I had. And it was probably the most stressful job I've ever had in my entire life, like not even just career. And I'm not exaggerating, because at that point, I had already worked in so many different places. I spent the majority of my nursing career in the ER. So, at that point, I had about, 14 years total in nursing. And I would say from my nursing to NP career, probably a decade in the ER, just total time for everything. So that was my heart, my passion, adrenaline junkie, all that stuff, yada, 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 whatever. But that place, and I think is where it was, not just in my career, but in my life. Like I had been through so much, all the early on, you're adrenaline junkie, like I mentioned, you want the excitement, the traumas and stuff like that, but no. And this place was very, very demanding. It was the way it was set up, the structure was not the greatest. So you end up seeing a lot more patients. There was a lot more charting, and it was a Magnet hospital. And so typically in those places, the documentation. They require a lot. You have more eyes on you if you ever worked in like a magnet hospital, just because their standards and things like that are higher than some places. So, but when I say it was something just about every day, like I got some kind of communication from somebody related to the job, whether it was an email, my personal email, my work email, text messages. We had these little box within the system that we had to check from the billing department. It was literally something every day. And I remember the first time I really hit home, I was finally off. I had just started my jog. Like I was literally jogging, and then my phone buzzed, and I checked it, and it was like from one of the billers. Hey, can you take a look at this real quick? It's not real quick, because anytime somebody asks you something clinical, even if it's just a friend or family, or just they just act, now I have to stop and I'm back in work mode. So it's not just real quick. It's not just a quick thought, because my brain switches to work mode. And it's like, that is draining just over time. And then this place also, like our schedule fluctuated. So, we did 8 to 4, we did 10 to 6, we did 10 to 9, 3 to 11, 5P to 1A. So you never really get into a routine with your sleep and eating and all of that stuff. And so that's another thing. And no matter what time you got off, 1 to 2 times per month, we had mandatory meetings, usually in the morning, that you have to be on. And of course, they did not pay for that. Did I mention this was also one of my lowest paying jobs? I mean, they demanded so much, and it was not worth it at all. Like the pay structure was just not, it was just a lot. And so I had to get out of there. But not only did I quit that place, it made me hang up my ER hat forever. Like I stopped even wanting to work in the ER. I hung that hat up for good. And I don't ever plan on going back. I still get emails for job offers from hospital systems. No, thank you. I don't care. 150 an hour. I don't see those. I'm just exaggerating, but I'm saying if they did, no, thank you. It's just not worth the time, because, like I mentioned before, every place is always short-staffed. Every job I've ever worked has been short-staffed. So it's always somebody calling in. There's always a need to pick up. There's always this and that. So it's like sometimes you get kind of brainwashed, or you'll get trapped, because, like I say, they'll use the whole team player and all of this stuff, and, oh, you're going to help us out and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's always somebody calling in, like, y'all need to fix the staffing problem. Like, that's not on you. And then I've even had people that they don't have a lot of things going on outside of work. Like they might be single, not married, no kids, and they just tell everybody their business. So people know that they're just at home by themselves. And so they usually will kind of volunteer. Oh yeah, sure. I don't have anything going on. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll pick up. Yeah. And it's like, it's not worth it, because money has a ceiling. But time doesn't. Like, you don't get that time back. Even when you're working so many hours. Like last year, I worked a lot. Like there was several months when I had 60-hour weeks. And it just, all that time. And then for me, I had very little to show for it. Yeah, I paid a few things off. Yeah, we took a couple trips. But in the grand scheme of things, what did I really gain from that? Just lost time. And I have kids who want more time with me. And so it's like, it's kind of tough, because yeah, your kids need stuff. Yeah, they want to go places, but they need you more. But it's like, if you're always working, if you put the job first, or, oh, they need help at work. No matter where you work, they're going to need help. Even if you work your normal shifts, they will still need help. And sometimes some places I've seen places try to guilt trip you into doing that, to picking up and stuff like that. But no. So how you deal with that is setting personal boundaries, which I have another video about that one coming out soon. but I set personal boundaries. I have these, what I call non-negotiables. But if you're able to, I would kind of take a step back on one of your off days. If you have just some quiet time, maybe just 30 minutes or an hour, just to kind of take a step back and review everything. Like, look at your expenses, like all this extra. Because I have people that, oh, I just love money. Oh yeah, why just even look at that, right? So look at your taxes, look at your check stub. Because there was a time when I was doing like 5 or 6 shifts at the same job. Now, when I say I was working 60-hour weeks, that wasn't at the same place. That was 3 in my main, and then I did either 2 in my other place or 1 and 1, because I have 2 side jobs. Because if you work 60 hours for one place, like in 1 week, that last 12 hours is most likely going to be taxes. You're not even going to see that. So really take a step back and evaluate. And just honestly, whatever it is, do you really need this? The problem is we get so sucked into working all these hours, we accept it's busy. Yes, I have to take this work home. Yes, this, I have all this stuff to pay for. And you end up being trapped where it was once, this is something extra, or I'm picking up these extra shifts to pay for this. But then lifestyle creep takes over. You get an upgrade, your car, you move, or you buy something, put your kids in some extra activity. They're in private school now. So now you have to work. So now you're stuck. And that's a really bad place to be in. And I've been there several times, and it's not a good place to be. So protect your inner peace, okay? But I set boundaries, and it's tough if you have in the midst of a place where you've been there for years and that's just kind of what it is. I mean, if you can scale back, like even like checking emails or text messages, because I started that way where I would answer these, but then I got to a point where I just stopped responding. So even like other providers that text me, hey, that patient you saw yesterday, I'll say I'll address this tomorrow when I get back in the office, or I just won't respond at all. And then eventually people get the message. Because remember, you can say a lot by not saying a word, okay? So silence does actually say a lot, okay? So just protect yourself and just be mindful of these invisible hours that are taken from you working in this role, okay? Your MP Pal here. Practice boldly, and I will see you on the next one.